Coverage now. Here's Greg Aldridge. As he makes the first hit, stops the man.
Greg is a very aggressive kid. We think he's going to play a whole bunch before this year's over.
First down at 17. Henry Miller again on the defensive stop. Comes a big sack right here again. David Vogel on the recovery.
Philip Worthy on the quarterback sack.
Second down and 5 for MacArthur. Again, we'll just look at your defense for a couple of series here.
Their quarterback, Nall, is a very deceptive young man. He's got good quickness, big heart. He should be an outstanding player before it's over.
Philip Worthy. You know, I thought they really probably played over their heads last night.
Oh, yeah, they're playing for the life. We were just out there kind of having a good time and end up getting in trouble a lot of times.
You could tell it when they came back on the field there as the halftime, 8-0 at the half. But when they came back from the halftime only down by 8, you would have thought they were ahead the way they were reacting.
Well, I think they went in the ball game trying to save face and trying to save their life, and ended up being in the ball game. Here's a great run, but King doing a turn-up job on option and picking up 12, 15 yards.
Rod Jones up the middle. First down at 33. Controversial call right here.
Beautiful job, King, in putting the ball up in the running back's belly, pulling it out, coming out on the option, pitching the ball forward, and we lose a down and a penalty.
And almost another touchdown. King threw the ball well, I thought.
I thought he threw exceptionally well.
So you came away with no points. Back on defense, interception by Mike Blaze.
This kid here has a lot of talent. Mike's got size, speed, and he's got talent. We think before the year's over that he will see a lot of action both offensively and defensively.
Third down and 1, Glasgow.
Good, tough job running by Brian.
Sweeney switch, tried a field goal, just missed it, so you're 0 for 2 on the field goal for the year. Back on defense, pretty good job out there. Third down and 4.
21's a good football player. He's got good moves. He's strong. He's got a big heart. That's a real nice job to him.
Philip Worthen again on the defense.
Philip had a great game. He's got good quickness. He's got size. He's got strength. And he's going to be very valuable to us.
Fourth quarter action now.
Tackle made by Brian Miller.
Defense by Brian Miller.
Brian Miller tipped that thing out at the last second.
Third down, and their quarterback scrambles. I thought he was going to score.
Very deceptive kid.
Set up a fourth down and goal. They could have gotten the first down, and you guys not only kept them out of the end zone, but you kept them from getting the first down, so you took over. Got a short punt here from Sweeney, who had to kick out of the end zone, and they come right back, and they're knocking on the door again. Good pressure by your defense, but their quarterback rolls out, throws, and the tight end just catches the ball out of the end zone. And here's the touchdown. That makes it 8-6, and you'll watch old Richard Tuma stop them from tying the game up.
And the pressure is on.
Good play by Captain Tuma.
That was a very big play.
Now you come right back. You're really the best drive of the night. 10 plays, 75 yards, and you'll eventually score. First play, Glasgow.
At this point in time, kids really realize that their intensity has got to pick up. They've got to execute. They've got to knock people off the line of scrimmage in order to win the game.
22 yards. Great run.
Good, strong run by Brian.
Right this time, Glasgow again gets 8.
Rod Jones, the lead blocker on the lead option.
4 plays later, King keeps. Third down and 5, Glasgow. Oh, this is Rod Jones.
Rod Jones, ball carrier, does a good job picking up about 4 to 5 yards.
And now we go.
Here we come on the lead option to the strong side once again. Brian makes a great run for a touchdown.
2:58 to go. That made it 15-6. That more or less iced the ball game.
Yeah, because it forced them to score a touchdown, and they had to kick a field goal.
Yeah, it really,
in order to win.
Yeah, it really did. They still played hard. There was a good screen pass.
Oh, they were very game group of people. The coaches had them well prepared.
Ooh,
Oh, man, that's a headache on Saturday morning.
Ellison Hurt. That's an appropriate name, isn't it?
He did put the hurt on him, I'll tell you.
2 plays later, 3rd down and 10, interception by Glenn Evans. Take our word for it, he got it. That's the way it ended, 15-6. So you're 1-0. We'll take a short break. When we come back, as you might guess, we'll talk to some of the players.
When you live in the Park Cities, you come to expect the best of everything. You expect the best schools, the best shops, the best cars, the best houses. And you come to expect the best realtors. Call Avio and Adelita because we're the best that you would expect Park Cities to offer.
Glenn, let's talk about MacArthur. They played pretty tough out there on Friday night, didn't they?
Yes, sir, they really did. They worked pretty hard. They were a good ball club. They're fair.
You know, they had some good success with you guys on offense there a few drives. What were they doing to move the ball on you?
Well, you know, they were passing pretty well, and they were, you know, a good running game, but that's about it. Otherwise, we should have played a lot better. We had a lot of mental errors.
Chance for you to play quite a bit tonight. Talk about you stepping in there and playing. How'd you feel about it, and your thoughts on the ball game?
I felt pretty good. I had some few breakdowns too, but I felt pretty good. It was pretty good.
Coach Johnson keeps you guys going. Talk a little bit about him.
Yes, he really does. He keeps us going. He's a good coach. Very good.
Talk about your interception.
Well, we were on a 3D. I was, you know, all the secondary stays back, and I was just in the right place at the right time to get it.
Look forward to improving.
Sir?
Look forward to improving.
Yes, sir. Very much.
King, I guess for starters, you guys, not an exceptional performance by you, but I guess it's good just to win the ball game.
Yeah, we were lucky the defense came through, and offense didn't perform real well, but we got some points on the board, and luckily we won it.
The obvious question, last year you played behind Barth. This year, you are the man on the offense. Talk about your situation and how you feel about it.
Well, preparation is easier because, you know, because I know I'm going to be starting, and the main thing, we just have to perform. The offense is supposed to be real good this year, and we got a bunch of expectations we have to live up to.
Were there things out there that you were surprised you guys did well? I know Glasscock had a pretty good ball game. Some of the things on the offense, talk about those.
The passes worked good. We had good blocking, good pass protection. It was like kind of a guessing game. Their two shades were real quick, and we just had to try to catch them stunting the wrong way, and that was the main thing.
What about the scoring drive, the time you took it in, touchdown run there?
It was just line got fired up a little bit, and had good blocking, and we just took it in.
Has to give you a lot of confidence, though. You guys go up 8-0, they come back 8-6, and then you took it right down the field, 10-play drive for 75 yards. That has to do something good for the offense.
Yeah, overall we didn't perform very well, but in the tight situations when we had to score and when it was we really had to score, we sucked it up and put it in.
What do you think you have to improve next week?
Sherman passes the ball a lot, and defensive secondary is going to get a test, and the offense just has to pull together and do a lot better than we did tonight.
You guys over here at Highland Park always seem to start slow and build. Seems to be the best way.
Yeah, we weren't planning on doing that, but that's how it turned out, and we will be better next week.
Now let's talk about the ball game. I know you on the offense didn't do what you expected to do going into the ball game. Just give us an overall viewpoint from the offensive line standpoint.
Yeah, well, we had high hopes of trying to come out the first half with a big lead and be able to sit down on the sidelines the rest of the game. But I think we had a lack of intensity in the huddle and during the game, and we had some trouble adjusting to some of the stunts they were running against us.
Did you feel a responsibility being a returning starter on the offensive line to pick those guys up?
Yeah, you know, we had to we started trying to, after the second half, after the halftime, when we got some readjustments and everything, we tried to pick up the intensity and everything. And I was real embarrassed during the first half and the second half, I guess.
Well, you talked about their quickness. Was that the main problem?
Yeah, they had some defensive tackles that were real quick, and they were real small and elusive, and we had to do some zone blocking that we really hadn't worked on a whole lot. So
Had to give you guys a lot of confidence, though, when they pulled up within 2 points of you. You took the ball 75 yards in 10 plays.
well, we sucked it up, I guess, but still, I would have rather not had to do that. I would have rather just been able to win it overall without having to make some kind of comeback or anything. That was kind of embarrassing to have to do.
But why the success you had on that drive as opposed to what you had most of the night?
Well, I guess we just had to do it, I don't know. That's why I was talking about lack of intensity. When we had to do something, we came through,
What do you think you'll work on this week to pick up for Sherman?
Well, I think they're going to have a little extra drills for us to do this week. We're going to be banging a little harder than we have been. It's kind of like after the Sherman game last year, kind of a little down. We're going to have a little pickup in the practices.
Do you like the potential of this particular team, though?
Huh?
You like the overall potential of this particular team?
Our team? Yeah, I think, we've got as big and as good of a line as in 1980. We're just going to have to. They had a bad start too in 1980, so we'll pick it up. We'll be there.
Overall, the offense said they had some rough times tonight. Your overall impressions from the defensive side of things?
But defense, we've been down a little bit this week before Coach Emery said we weren't really coming on like we should have, and we had a lot more potential than we were showing. But when we came out tonight, we really stuck it to them early, and we kept with it, and we showed this, the people in the community that we do have the best defense, and we can stay with any offense, and we're competitive, and we're going to go a long way.
What are the strengths of the defensive club this year?
We have really quick linebackers, and we have more size than we did last year. The secondary, I think we got 2, maybe even 3 juniors starting, and that's nice. That gives more morale to the younger kids because they can see their friends starting in secondary. That helps. And up front, we got really quick ends. Turner's really fast, and Hurt is so quick, man. He's lightning quick.
And he's also standing right over there.
He is, man. He's right back there. Hey, Ellie.
Well, let's talk about MacArthur. 2 or 3 times tonight they had good drives. Looked like they were going to score a big defensive stand for you down on the goal line.
Yeah, that was a high point. We finally got with it, got tough, and gave it to them. Like we should have been. I don't know how they drove on us a couple of look-in passes, and they were on their 20-yard line. But we kept with it, and we had good goal line stand. And once they fake blocked it, they gave us a block inside spear, and they ran outside, and they got a goal on us, which was, not much we can do about it.
What did Coach Emery keep talking to you guys about on the sideline throughout the ball game?
Well, he said, in the first half, he said, you guys are doing good, keep with it. And toward the second half, he said, now you're starting to letting up on me. Now don't let up, and keep the pressure on them, and we'll come out of this thing ahead.
Understand you're going to have to prepare for a lot of things next week against Sherman.
Yeah, we have a good ball club coming up next week, and we're going to have to really get with it. And Coach said the offensive linemen are going to have a heck of a time this week, and so we're expecting a good work pace.
Ellison, first of all, it had to be nice. You stepped out there as a starter tonight, played most of the ball game. Your overall impressions as a starter this year?
Well, I don't know. I think we're going to have a really good team this year in the starters. We have a lot of starters that are captains this year, of course. And I think that 2 of the starters on defense, Phillip and Richard, are going to do really well and lead us. I think that the starters and seniors and everything are going to lead the team really well this year. And
overall, let's talk about MacArthur. Your impressions of their offense tonight?
Well, they weren't that tough. We just didn't play right. The guy over me wasn't tough. I just had they had a bunch of funny blocks and stuff, a bunch of pulls and doubles. Really gave everybody a tough time.
I noticed one time, we'll look at the highlights later on in the show, but I noticed one time he got a nice crack right in the middle of the line, kind of laid the guy out. Must be nice on that type of play.
Felt great. I just stepped in, followed my block, stepped in, and he was there, and I got him. It felt,
A lot of potential on the defense. Talk about what you guys expect of yourselves as a unit.
Well, we're going to have to improve every day, and I think we'll be one of the best defenses in our district this year. I really do. When we mature out, think we'll be really good.
Any impressions on Sherman as you get ready to play them?
Well, not really. Just I know they're going to be really tough. Everybody's going to have to really gut it up this week and just play to their utmost potential. That's all.
Overall, early, do you guys on the defense feel like you may have to, you know, maybe carry the offense? It seems like the offense takes a while to get cranked up.
Well, that wasn't the impression we got last week, but that was the impression we got tonight. I hope we don't have to carry the offense. It's a lot easier, you know, to have it half and half. But if they mess up, they don't do well, then I guess we'll have to carry them. We'll do it.
When you live in the Park Cities, you come to expect the best of everything. You expect the best schools, the best shops, the best cars, the best houses. And you come to expect the best realtors. Call Avio and Adelita, because we're the best that you would expect Park Cities to offer.
Thought here early in the year we'd visit with a couple of guys on your staff, so I went to the defensive coaches.
We have two real fine men in charge of our defense, Randy Emery, the defensive coordinator, and Wayne Johnson is in charge of our secondary. Randy is probably as sharp a coach as there is in Texas right now as far as defense is concerned. Wayne does a great job with the kids in secondary. You know, that's the place where you coach where if someone makes a mistake, everyone sees it.
Let's visit with Randy and Wayne. Last year we talked about Bo Watson, some people like that on defense that were really quick. How do you characterize the defense this year?
We're not as quick as we were last year, but we're going to come around. We're doing some more things defensively, and I think that that'll compensate maybe for the lack of quickness, showing some different fronts. Went to the University of Arkansas last spring and learned some things, how they move their people around. We're going to do that and hopefully compensate for maybe not quite as much quickness.
Where's the lack of quickness?
Well, overall last year we were very quick. The three linebackers and 2 or 3 people on the front were very quick. This year, as far as quickness goes, Worthing has quickness and Hurt has some quickness, but we're just not real quick up front defensively.
What about strength? I know the guys are looking pretty large.
Yeah, our kids worked real good on the all-season program, and this is the second year to be in this facility, and I think it's showing the results. You know, the kids are stronger than they've ever been.
You say you're not as quick as last year. What are the strengths of this ball club then?
This is a very competitive group. They have a lot of confidence in their ability.
Cocky.
Well, not necessarily. You like for them to have a certain degree of confidence in themselves. They feel like that they can beat anybody that they play, and if you don't think that way, then a lot of times you don't beat anybody.
Explain something to me. I watched 10 ball games, 11, 12 ball games, whatever it was last year. You're flexed. I know the people that have watched the ball games. Why do you guys flex on defense? What's the purpose of that?
Well, the flex gives you the opportunity to stunt, run a loop stunt between your tackle and your defensive end. It prevents the tight end from being able to double down. And it just gives you some benefits that you don't normally have. The bad aspect of it is if you run a pass when we've got a flex, then he's got another yard that he's got to make up on his pass rush.
Well, you guys are flexed quite a bit then. How do you know what's a pass and what's a run? Do you guess with them?
Well, yeah, you just get in the routine of the game and the flow of the game, and you have an idea of when it is a pass is coming. It's not always on 3rd and 7, but you know, you just kind of get a feel for the game, and that's how you make your calls.
Where's the leadership of this year's defensive team coming from?
Tuma and Worthing are very good leaders. Our linebackers, Henry Miller and Steve Todd, they're very good leaders. They provide very good leadership. They're very competitive.
Final question. Last year, it seemed like we talked early, the defense had to carry the offense. Do you think the offense has to perk early this year and let your defense age?
I think it's going to be a situation similar to last year. I don't think that we're going to be as good early as we're going to be later on in the season. And I think we will improve each game. And if if we don't, then we're in trouble. But,
Score a lot.
Yeah. You know, it's a funny thing. If offense scores a lot, it sure does make it a lot easier to play defense. Now, I think if we can play pretty good defense and give the offense the ball in good field position, then they'll score a lot of points, and it'll make our job easier till we mature out.
I talked with Randy, and we talked about you guys had a senior club last year. You basically lost everybody. You did that in the secondary. How do you characterize the kids you have in the secondary this year?
Yeah, we probably have more depth this year than I've ever had since I've been here. You know, we're going to start more underclassmen than we've ever started because we just don't have the seniors to start. But I feel like we'll have an excellent secondary.
Talk about some of those kids you'll have back there.
Well, we have seniors David Vocal, and David will play quite a bit, and Brian Miller's an excellent secondary player. Tommy Harrington's another senior, play quite a bit. And then the juniors, pound for pound, Todd Bright has to be one of the best I've ever seen, you know. I tell you what, he's probably the smallest player that's ever played for him, but he's going to be excellent. And Chuck Hutchison's come on a long ways. Last few weeks, Glenn Evans has looked outstanding.
Talk about your secondary now. What do these guys have to do for Randy Emery and his guys up front to be able to perform well? What does the secondary have to do back there?
Well, we have to understand the calls, or they have to understand the calls that have been made in the defensive huddle, and plus the calls that they can put with the fronts that they're facing offensively. And so, you know, it takes a pretty smart kid to play back there to be able to balance up the calls and know what you can run, what you can't run.
Do you play a lot of man, or is it zone, or what's
well,
your thinking on
a
that?
lot of times, you know, we play about 8 or 9 different coverages, and a lot of times our coverage is determined on the snap of the ball. And so we may say, hey, we'd like to play this, but we don't really play that, you know, because when the ball's snapped, it dictates another coverage, and we expect the kids to coordinate themselves and roll into it.
It's kind of complicated. A lot of times people in the stands will see a pass completed or somebody run through the secondary and think that one particular person blew the play, but it's a little more complicated than that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the scary part about it. You know, everybody sees it when sees those kids when they get beat, you know, and you might not see the breakdowns up front or the inadequate pressure up front, but you know, you always see that kid when he got beat deep. And oftentimes, no passes complete underneath us because we're giving up certain routes. We don't ever like to get beat deep, but, you know, by and large, like I say, they're in this gun, they're in the spotlight because you can see them.
Talk about the makeup of a defensive back. You got to have a little rooster in you back there.
Yeah.
Mental makeup.
Right. I tell you what, you have to be a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky, you know, because you're going one-on-one with some great receivers, and like I say, you know, you're going to be burned and be able to pick yourself up and go again, you know, and not get down yourself and get discouraged. And that's hard for young kids to do that, you know, to say, hey, I made a mistake, but I won't make it again, you know, and not dwell upon that mistake and make 2 in a row.
You said you're young as a defensive secondary. Even your seniors didn't play a lot last year behind the senior group you had back there.
No.
How do you look for them to come on this year?
Well, of course, Brian played quite a bit last year, and so he's got to be our leader, and he has to assume that leadership role, and I think that he will assume that leadership role. The young kids have so much confidence, though, in their ability, and they're closest together. Now, I think they mature in a hurry. I think they've come a long ways already.
Where does that confidence come from that they have back there?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do that they're intelligent young men, and they've been together for so long, and they just believe in one another, and that has a lot to do, and just the fact believing that you can do the job, believing that your fellow man's not going to let you down.
1-0 on the year, and now you got to pick it back up and go again next Friday night against Sherman.
As each week goes by, the games will get a little tougher, and we go to Sherman this week, and they will be much better than MacArthur.
I got a little unfinished business. Last year, Luther Hall was one of our sponsors, and we didn't list him on the credits. So, Luther, the last 5 seconds of the program has been dedicated to you. Thank you, all the sponsors. That's it. That's our time for this week. We'll see you again next week.
The Frank Bevers Show, a weekly look at the activities and game highlights of the Highland Park Scots, with head coach Frank Bevers and Eddie Clinton. Brought to you by Havio Adlita Realtors, Lincoln Property, Sparkman Hillcrest, Sharp Hardware, J.P. Summers Incorporated Construction and Home Building, Murray Savings. Murray Savings was the first in Dallas to introduce an interest-earning checking account. Make Murray Savings part of your financial game plan. in pre-district play. And for inspiration, how about trying last year's loss at home to the Sherman Bearcats on the road and with built-in motivation? Sounds like an interesting plot for the Scots in Week 2. The Frank Bevers Show, a weekly look at the activities and game highlights of the Highland Park Scots, with head coach Frank Bevers and Eddie Clinton. Brought to you by Avio Adlita Realtors, Lincoln Property, Sparkman Hillcrest, Sharp Hardware, J.P. Summers Incorporated Construction and Home Building, Murray Savings. Murray Savings was the first in Dallas to introduce an interest-earning checking account. Make Murray Savings part of your financial game plan.